such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com. We got a great question. I even charge them less for it because it will help out a very specific group of people, and that is finance majors. Those of you who want to find it interesting and financial markets and economics. Boy, how do I get rich? How do I make other people rich in the process? You think this, and it's a very attractive study. It's a brilliant study. It's a wonderful field to stimulate your mind, but it is absolutely jack shit when it comes to employability and starting a great career. Who writes? Stephen writes, Cappy, I'm 22 and I live in a small town in upstate New York, nowhere near New York City, and recently graduated with a finance degree. Had a kick-ass time in college, but now I feel very misled. Living at home with $55,000 owed in student loans. That's not bad at all. That's pretty, you got by pretty cheap. I followed the advice of my dad who works a comfortable federal government job, and my business professors who have no real world working experience but somehow have doctorates in it anyway. I'm kidding. I just added that. Who I thought were being honest about my earnings potential. Let's stop right here. Your dad, much as he loves you, he could be a brilliant man too, could be as honest as the day is long. He is a federal government worker, and federal government jobs in general, government workers, have no clue what it's like in the real world. They're spoiled, they're overpaid, they never get laid off, and if they do, it's very rare. So they are taking advice from your dad is the wrong source. Your dad, I don't think, had any malicious intent to mislead you. But listening to someone who's a government worker about the working world and having careers, like listening to a professor about business. They just don't have any real world experience. And then also, your business professors did have a vested interest in lying to you. I'm surprised. I bet you did they try and push an MBA down your throat? You really need to get an MBA. Well, that'll help out with your career. Here, give me go borrow another $50,000 or $75,000, give it to me, and I will give you an MBA. Because I care about you. I'm a professor. Who knows more than me, an entrepreneur making money, or somebody who studies that person? Ah! Fucking pussies. Anyway, the Bureau of Labor statistics suggest that my professors were correct, but reality says otherwise. Currently working an entry-level banking job, making $15 an hour, underwriting auto loans. You're in my world. And working part-time at a convenience store at $9 an hour, totaling 55 to 60 hours a week. Leaving the bank job next month for a credit management job at a wholesale distribution company much closer to home that pays $17 an hour. Yeah, get out of banking. If you could do credit analysis and finance work out of the financial services industry, you're going to have a much easier and happier life. But yeah, you got to get... Because how much you want to bet? Let me ask you something. Underwriting auto loans, did they even care what you recommended? Or was it plug numbers into this formula, give us the number it spits out, we'll take it from there? So there was no analysis, you were just a data entryman. Because the banks just approve all the loans anyway. We get a commission, oh my goodness, bleh. They didn't pay it back, too bad, I'm moving on to the next bank. And that's banking. Tried to haggle higher and they wouldn't give. And believe me when I say I got several other offers from other banks that paid even less than what I make now. I don't doubt it. And yes, they require college degrees and preferred prior related work experience. Yep, MBA preferred. I don't understand where the supposed average and median starting salary amounts are coming from. Whether I read on BLS, Forbes, Glassdoor, etc., the starting salary that I thought I'd be looking at would be in the $40,000 to $55,000 range for both accounting and finance majors. I couldn't find a single credit analyst or underwriting job that paid more than $30,000 per year. It makes no sense when compared to the data that I see online. Even working my current two jobs, I'm making less than $40,000 a year. Questions for you. Could you explain where this disparity is stated in stated median salaries is coming from and why my actual wage is nothing in comparison? Where is the BLS getting their numbers and why doesn't it match what I'm getting? I know I'm not the only one in this problem too. How bad did I fuck up? All right, let's talk about the disparity between what the interwebs, with reputable sources, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Last Score, Pay Scale, whatever else, says about starting and median salaries. And then let's go on to, did you fuck up? All right. There are, and I've written them down. Where's my notes? They're tucked behind the camera here. Let's go through my notes because I want to make sure. All right. This is exactly what me and everybody else over at the Carlson School of Management experienced, unless you had a rich father or you were sucking cock over at Cargill or Dane Rauscher, which is no more. That's a long time story ago, right? But basically, you would look at the starting salaries. You did a fair amount of math, accounting, economics, statistics. So you think, okay, this is a pliable skill I have. I might be able to start. And then you got out, and I think, yeah, I mean, I started at $30,000 a year, which was jack shit, and that was even back in the 90s. I'm like, shit, I make almost as much as a security guard. I almost did, when you throw in overtime. And so I looked at these, I thought, like, God, am I a fucking loser? Who's making this amount of money? And then ever since that, I've kind of kept tabs on starting salaries, particularly in finance majors, and I'm looking at them, and they are always, like, right there underneath engineers. Sometimes they're even higher. And I'm like, there's no fucking way this is true, because like you, I've gone out, I've looked at these jobs, you look at the salaries, you interview, you're like, there is definitely a difference. So, I've pinned it down to about 4 or 5 different things. I have no way to actually prove this, but this is what it is. I mean, I can almost guarantee you this is what it is, until someone comes along with a better theory. Because right now, in fact, millions of young men and women are going out there choosing finance as a degree because it makes sense. It's like, okay, there's financial services industry. It requires some math, kind of a little bit of a STEM aspect there. They see the starting salary, they do the research, and then they're found out that they were sold a load of bull like you were. So I tell people, do not major in finance. It is one of the worst majors you can major in, simply because you put all this effort into it. And with that amount of effort, you might as well, with just a little bit more effort, gone and gotten yourself a real STEM degree in engineering and not dealt with half this bullshit. All right. First reason why starting or median salaries do not match what's there in the real world is finance majors, fresh graduates or not, lie about their salaries. You have to understand, business majors, especially finance majors, they're probably the most immoral, amoral scum out there. Aside from political science majors who think that at the age of 17 or 18 they should lead the country, or journalists who think they're going to tell other people what to think at such a young age, finance majors are probably the most arrogant, bravado, cocky scum on the face of the planet. And you've seen this when you went to business school. There's the real people like actually have a passion for economics and finance. How do we improve economies? How do we grow societies? How do we make everybody rich? And then there's the dude bro frat boy who's sucking dick over at Cargill. He's like, dude, man, yeah, like I'm gonna go into business, I'm gonna major in finance, like my dad, yeah, he works over at US Bank, it's a pretty big deal. I'm a Sigma rep, man. And those guys are the ones who account for 60, 65, 75% of business majors, and certainly the finance majors. Now they're all gonna become investment bankers. And then when they face the same market that you do, their entire ego is based on them being finance majors. Yeah, business. That when they get their starting salary surveys from their school or whatever, they lie. And they say, oh yeah, dude, I'm totally bringing down like 75K with bonus and sales. I'm totally going to make 6 figs. 6 figs faggots. Anyway, so right off the bat, finance majors are lying about the starting salaries. Whether they're mid-career or starting salaries, they're lying about it to make it sound more than it is. So that's one thing I would suspect is causing that deviation. Second thing, this does not include all the finance majors that aren't lucky like you, because you actually got a job in finance. A lot of them are unemployed. A lot of them can't find jobs. And this was certainly the case during the financial recession. So if you were to actually include $0 starting salary, you'd find out that the starting salary is like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 maybe. So when you include people who don't have jobs, it's like liberal arts majors. I mean, the true average salary of a sociology major or women's studies major is about $5,000 a year, because for that 1 or 2 graduates that has a degree in women's studies or sociology or some worthless humanities degree, and they make their token $28,000 a year at some made-up make-work charity job over at the government or the public school system, there's 8 or 9 or a dozen of these people who just plain don't have a job and are slinging coffee. So if you were to average it out, it would bring those salaries down a lot more. They're only taking the people that are employed, which once again brings up the average. Third reason. Oh, I can almost certainly guarantee this is true. a disproportionate percentage of finance majors end up working in the financial district. So your Wall Streets, and not just Wall Street, we point to that because it's Wall Street, but every major city does have somewhat of a finance district. There's, what is it, LaSalle? Is that Chicago's finance district? Silicon Valley, even though it's tech, there's a fair amount of finance people there. And what comes with that is not only jobs in finance, but higher costs of living. So if you want to live, let's take Wall Street as an example. If you just want to make it, if you just want to have food on the table and pay for rent, you need around $100,000 to just get by as a rookie intro break glass in case of emergency reserve vice assistant analyst over at Goldman Sachs. So you'll be paid your 80 or 90, maybe 100,000. You'll be like, dude, bro, business, 6 figs. Cargill. But in terms of purchasing power, especially after taxes in some of these places, your real adjusted for purchasing power is more along the world of $50,000, maybe $55,000 gross. So that is what also inflates a lot of finance majors' starting and median salaries, is that you're working in these financial districts downtown, and your cost of living can easily be double that of the national average. So you're out in your perfect case, you're not in New York City. You're in upstate New York. Well, it doesn't cost anywhere near as much to live in Syracuse or Buffalo or Utica that it does Wall Street. Oh, business, 6 figs. Ugh. But you probably have, I wouldn't say as not with $30,000 a year, and even with your other job, you maybe don't have the purchasing power as a rookie break glass reserve assistant analyst over at Goldman Sachs. But pretty darn close. And if you live at home with your parents, you probably actually do have more purchasing power, frankly. But dude, I'm on Wall Street. Anyway, so there's that inflationary aspect due to the metropolitan areas costing more that jacks up your starting and your median salaries. 4, schools have every incentive to lie. I remember when I went to the Carlson School and they surveyed us all. Like, I could have written down a billion, quadrillion dollars, and they would have taken it. There was no way, there's no confirmation. So when these schools do their surveys, they don't care if you lie. They want to post this, well, look, according to our survey, according to the Gorman report, which you've never heard of, but we use it at the Carlson School of Management, our starting salary average is $75,000 a year. So in combination with finance majors typically being amoral pieces of shit and egotists and narcissists lying, you got no way that the schools are going to confirm that, and they're going to want you to lie. I remember I was working at a finance company fresh out of college, and they said, well, how many years experience do you have? I say, well, I'm fresh out of college. I have like the 3 months I've been working here. They're like, well, didn't you intern? I'm like, well, yeah, I interned a couple places. Well, how many places did, how long? I said, well, I interned, but it was very part-time, and it was over the course of 2 years. We'll put 2 years, and let's just round you up to 3. I mean, that's finance. So the employers, the schools certainly have every incentive to lie about what the starting salary is, because then they can get future suckers, dupes, innocents like you, to come in, fork over your money, go 55 grand in debt to give it to the professor who has no real world experience, but I'm going to teach you anyway. And then they make money. So yeah, they have every reason to lie. And then the final one, this doesn't speak to starting salaries, but it would speak to median salaries, is if you do make it in finance, yes, there's certainly a ton of money to be made. And that those high income earners, that handful, can certainly drag up the mean average, kind of like lawyers do. Lawyers make jack fucking shit. If you look at the median wage, they make jack fucking shit. Like 38, 40 grand a year. But then there's those power brokers that come from the tier 1 law schools, and they work at your, whatever the big white shoe law firms are. They drag that average up to about $80,000, $90,000 a year. Well, that's not what you can expect to me. You got to look at median income, not mean income. And kind of the same thing happens in the finance industry. We say, well, what's your mean salary? Well, this guy or gal who has 10, 15, 20 years experience, if they've been in finance, and if they can do the la 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 game, which I couldn't, and then you get a master's, or you start going in econometrics, modeling, stuff that is more highly compensated than me being a mere credit analyst, or in your case, auto loan analyst. Then you're starting to make your six figures, your quarter millions, and sometimes if you become a CEO, a lot of CEOs become finance majors become CEOs, and that once again drags up the mean average, but not the median. So when you see mid-career level, and you look at finance majors, well, yeah, they got their undergrad in finance, but then they went on to get a master's in stochastics or big data or econometrics, or they got their PhD or something like that. And what's represented there is their experience and their advanced education and their advanced skill set, not their undergrad. So that, once again, does that. But anyway, yeah, no, you're absolutely 100% right. What you see reported as started salaries, especially in finance majors, is not represented in the real world, okay? When you see those numbers, that is largely the preserve and domain of Ivy League people who already got a connection, and they go straight to Wall Street, or they go to some metropolitan inflated area where they need that higher salary, but the purchasing power is not the same. And for the rest of the country, though, and if you're not in the Ivy League, or if you're not sucking dick over at Cargill, you're just not going to get into it. And then, like me, you're going to go work for the XYZ bank, and you're going to do processing and auto loans, and then, oh, well, is there a way we could change the figures to make it look better than it actually is? Because I need my commission, and it's based on sales and not whether the loans are paid back. And we sell them on the secondary market anyway, so fuck that. It's I would get out of finance, and you're kind of doing that. You're repurposing your degree to go into what, like a non-finance company. That's the best you can really do. I'd see if you could go get your CPA, get your ass into accounting or something else. But yeah, finance is by and large a worthless degree. Not because you don't learn anything interesting, or even that would be practical. It's just that the industry that you're working for is horrendously corrupt, horrendously incompetent, and horrendously unintelligent. I mean, people always say, oh, well, you say that because you're just like, no, I'm not the one that needed a fucking $1 trillion bailout. And everybody, if any of you guys have read my stuff, you know I'm a freaking genius when it comes to this, predicting bubbles. It's very child's play. Oh, you couldn't see that coming? Oh, I guess you are from Goldman Sachs. You got your head up your boss's ass so far you can't tell. But anyway, but you don't want. Trust me, I did inevitably make it up in the executive management of banking. You don't want to be there, dude. It is just an ass-kissing, brown-nosing, incompetent shit show. What are you, 22? Dude, you're 22? Fuck banking. Fuck finance. Get the fuck out of it, okay? It's not worth it. If I had known to get out at 22, instead of like, well, I'm really good at it, I just have bad luck. You're not having bad luck. It's not you. It's the whole fucking industry. Get the fuck out, become an accountant, get a CPA, you'll make a lot more money, you'll do more interesting work, I'll tell you that. A lot of people think, oh, accounting and CPA, that's kind of boring. Yeah, people need accountants and CPA, and you're going to be doing much more interesting shit than this data entry crap that you're going to do and have some kind of like financial model do the analysis and the underwriting for you. But yeah, it's just not worth it. Dude, honestly, be a house husband. Be a ski bum. Seriously, live off of welfare, play video games, and have these cocksucking bankers pay extra taxes to support your ass. Anything. Become a professor. Become some worthless parasitic fuck. Whatever you do, don't go into the finance industry. It's just not worth it. You're gonna die. You're about 25. No, you're almost 30% dead. You're 30% dead. Don't waste the remaining 70% of your life in finance. So anyway, hope that helped out. Hope that explained it. Sorry you got schnookered, but now you know. And now you know to repurpose. Maybe go get a STEM degree, go into accounting, something. But avoid finance with all your might. Best of luck to all of you. Toodles.